bilingual round table, so to say. And so a very warm welcome to all of you, especially the fellows who have arrived a month ago. And also a very special thanks to Sérgio Proença, Frau Konsulin Hackelberg und Victor Callil. Es ist eine große Freude, dass wir hier diesen... Estou falando... Gente! O multilinguismo não está funcionando. Sorry. When did I start speaking German? Actually, probably when I was looking at you, I suppose. Wow. Well, you didn't notice, I suppose. All right. So, well, anyways, so it's great to actually open up this event here, the kickoff workshop 2014. And well, my name is Peter Schulze. I'm the director of the Luso-Brazilian Institute at the University of Cologne, and also I am, since yesterday, the new director of Mecila in presence here with Bianca Tavolari. She's the co-director, and so it's really exciting to begin this new year with the fellows and a very intense program. And so I would like to pass the word on to Victor Callil. Please.
Obrigado. Acho que está dando para me ouvir bem aqui. Sim. Eu tinha preparado também em inglês, mas aí me disseram que podia falar em português. Eu vou falar em português. Então, primeiramente, bom dia a todas e todos. Eu sou o Victor Callil, faço parte da diretoria aqui do Cebrap. Cebrap é o Centro Brasileiro de Análise e Planejamento. Então, primeiramente, eu gostaria de dizer que é uma honra para mim estar aqui hoje, em nome do Cebrap, na mesa de abertura do Mecila's Kickoff Workshop, na companhia de convidados tão ilustres. Eu aproveito também para dar as boas-vindas ao grupo de fellows que iniciará suas atividades junto ao Mecila esse ano. Eu gostaria de falar brevemente também sobre o Cebrap, que há mais de 40 anos habita essa casa simpática e agradável aqui na Vila Mariana, em São Paulo. O Cebrap é uma instituição que foi fundada em 1969 por professores afastados da universidade pela ditadura, que foi resultado de um golpe militar que, por acaso, completou 60 anos essa semana. O Cebrap ele nasceu como um locus de pensamento crítico e livre em um período bastante duro da história do Brasil. Nosso objetivo sempre foi a análise da realidade, com um estilo de trabalho que enfatiza a comparação e combina especialização e interdisciplinaridade, em diálogo constante com as diferentes perspectivas teóricas e metodológicas de diversas áreas, como sociologia, política, demografia, direito, filosofia, história, antropologia, economia, geografia. Desde o seu nascimento, o Cebrap ele é um centro de pesquisa globalizado, mantendo parcerias internacionais com governos, institutos, universidades, agências de fomento, associações civis de diversos países, como Alemanha, Estados Unidos, França, Índia, China, México, África do Sul, entre tantos outros. A parceria com o Mecila esse ano completa 7 anos e é motivo de muito orgulho e alegria para o Cebrap, né? A convivência com pesquisadores estrangeiros, com novas perspectivas, moldados a partir de trajetórias distintas, é fundamental para nós. É uma forma de manter dentro da casa um espírito de pesquisa arejado e conectado com as preocupações globais, não apenas no compartilhamento do resultado das pesquisas, mas em todo o processo de produção dos estudos. O tema desse evento, informalidades, né, assim analisado de forma ampla, traz um debate que é extremamente importante e dialoga intimamente com a realidade brasileira, tanto da perspectiva histórica ou historiográfica, quanto a partir dos mecanismos de sociabilidade atuais do país. Permeia noções de diversos elementos estruturais da cotidiana, como trabalho, religião, cultura, habitação, e etc. Vale dizer que esse é um tema transversal também no Cebrap, presente em diversos núcleos a partir de múltiplas concepções, inclusive no núcleo que eu tenho a felicidade de participar, o núcleo de desenvolvimento. Para encerrar, então, eu gostaria mais uma vez de agradecer ao convite de estar aqui, do Tomás, que é o coordenador do Mecila, e aproveito também para saudar mais uma vez os novos fellows do Mecila. Vocês são muito bem-vindos aqui. E lembrá-los que sempre que precisarem de alguma coisa, por favor, contem conosco. Eu desejo aí um bom dia de trabalho para a gente e muito obrigado.
Bom dia. Eu vou falar duas frases em português e depois vou continuar em inglês. Então, primeiramente, também gostaria de dizer que é uma enorme alegria e honra de estar aqui hoje. Já me sinto muito em casa, porque é a terceira ou quarta vez que estou na abertura de um seminário de Mecila, então estou muito agradecida e, enfim, hoje acho que temos um tema bastante interessante. Professor Sérgio Proença, professor Victor Callil, professor Peter Schulze, queridos fellows, Professor Moacir Novaes, Thomas Amorim, ladies and gentlemen. Nearly 2 billion people, representing around 60% of the global workforce, are in informal jobs. Estimates of ILO and OECD also show that in some world regions, this number reaches up to 90%. In Latin America, it is still more than 1 in 2. It demonstrates informality is not the global exception, but the norm. For many, it is the basis to earn their livelihoods, their only option to make a living. But even for those who have a choice, informal practices permeate the fabric of our societies. These practices are part of the social glue that holds society together. This realization has been paralleled by a shift in language, from being negatively named shadow economy to being also more neutrally called informal economy, or even more positively, or should I say it euphemistically, popular economy. However, informality comes at a price. The majority of informal jobs are low paid. Informal activities go along with higher transaction costs, a reduced tax base, diminished state capacity, and a lack of social and legal protection for informal workers. The burden of this cost is usually carried by those most vulnerable. It mirrors power disparities within a society. As one example, in Germany, women still shoulder the lion's share of care for the elderly at home, informally without any entitlement to state benefits or protection. Informality and gender gaps go hand in hand. Employment of migrants is another important aspect when looking at informal jobs. With digitization, we are faced with new challenges. Brazil and the EU have just passed new regulations on platform work and the digital economy. Both aim to counter new types of false or fictional self-employment, bringing more people under the umbrella of the social security system. When it comes to companies' responsibility in this context, it also has become clear that voluntary self-regulation is not enough. As you know, the EU and Germany have put forward directives on human rights due diligence in supply chains. We are very glad that with Brazil we have a strong partner to discuss these questions and our approaches. After the visit of our German Federal Minister of Work, Hubertus Heil, in Brazil last year, we just recently welcomed also the Bundestag Committee on Labor and Social Affairs in São Paulo. They met with trade unions, representatives of the civil society, and the judiciary for an interesting exchange on these matters, focusing on the possibilities for better regulation. However, with informal practices, you can't simply reformulate a paragraph in a law. To truly understand them, it is usually necessary to open the can of worms, which is the question what, often informal rules and institutions govern the workings and the culture of a society. Or to say it with our Goethe, whatever holds the world together in its inmost folds. Mecila is the perfect place for top-level research on these issues. Your transnational and interdisciplinary network opens up new perspectives, expands the view on research topics, and triggers the development of new research questions, approaches, and methods. In a modern world, politics without science is unthinkable. We need your input, your voice in the global debates. It is now true more than ever that science must not remain in the ivory tower, but must get out into the streets in dialogue with people, societies, and the politicians. With this in mind, I would like to wish you all a successful workshop, fruitful discussions, and interesting findings. In the spirit of today's topic, may this workshop not only serve as a formal exchange of knowledge, but also an informal space for discussions, dialogue, and networking. Thank you very much.
Proença.
Bom dia, good morning, and Professor Peter, Consul Martina, Vitor. It's my pleasure to be here. To whom that doesn't know me, I am Sérgio Proença. I'm Provost for International Cooperation at the University of São Paulo. So my job essentially is to promote cooperation, international cooperation in academic environment, including university institutions and so on. So for me, Mecila is an outstanding example of great success in the internationalization, international cooperation, and producing knowledge and training of students and research of high quality. So I am really fascinated about Mecila since I was I took my office 2 years ago. And so it's really my pleasure to be here. And I would like to know more about your thematic of informalities because I am engineering. So by definition, it's a hard scientist or something like that. But in spite of that, humanities is present in everything and everywhere. So it's impossible for us, even as engineering, doing research without taking care about humanities aspects. I think that in my case personally, beyond of work, art, and so on, I could ask about informality in the spread of knowledge in science. So, for instance, I think this is a norm. Spread knowledge is a norm to use informality. For instance, when I give to my students my class notes or a copy of a paper of a book not yet published, so it's a kind of informality. Talking with them after the classes or having a lunch together and so on. So informality is really our main norm of work in this case. So maybe I'm saying stupid things, but because I'm not in the area, but I would say that what my point is that it is a really important issue to discuss, to elaborate more the ideas, the different aspects. And so I think that this is going to be a really really nice workshop, and I would like to read about the results after the conclusions that you have arrived, or some points that you have asked, the questions and so on, because it's an open issue, of course. So it's not like engineering, you have to solve this problem and this is the solution. There is no way. You have a way to discuss, lines to discuss. So it's up to you. So it's your specialty. I wish you a very nice workshop, and thank you very much for inviting me, Thomas. So thank you all.
Yeah, actually, one of the characteristics of Mecila is transdisciplinary work, and you've just brought some different disciplinary perspectives from the hard sciences, from the social sciences, and also from the perspective of science policies. So actually, this is what we do at Mecila. It's really engaging in transdisciplinary research. And Mecila has been an amazing hub for many years, and it's continuously growing internationally. It's a consortium, as you know, of different universities and actually two research institutions that are extra university, which is the Ibero-American Institute and Cebrap. And thanks again for hosting us here so kindly. And actually, we've been feeling at home here for many years now, and great cooperations have arisen actually also from the proximity. But then, of course, we have also a very international perspective, which comes from the partner universities as well, which is La Universidad de La Plata. José Luis is here, actually a very distinguished literary scholar, which is just one example of this interchange we have, and also expanding beyond the actual PIs and EIs and the fellows, the senior and the junior fellows, the doctoral researchers as well, and then also the thematic research fellows. And there will be almost 20 people working together here at the core of Mecila, which is São Paulo. And I think São Paulo is a very apt place for that, because USP is actually not only considered as the best university in the global south, but it is also really a place where a lot of critical thinking takes place, also in the social sciences and in the humanities. So we're actually expanding our cooperations with USP as well. And of course, there's Colegio de Mexico as well, which is in a way also extra university research institution. So we really have this international and transdisciplinary approach here, and also a very diverse program. So research, of course, is at the center of our engagement. But then again, there is a lot of cooperations also with actors from civil society, for example. There have been the civil society workshops, for example. So they're taking place also always events at the other partner institutions, which is very important. And also always expanding this network. So Mecila really essentially is a network, a hub really for exchanging ideas, for creating new research projects as well. And as you have mentioned, the topic of this year's research topic is informalities. And of course, this is highly relevant. And we have very aptly, I think, many fellows from sociology this year, which of course is one of the core disciplines, but it goes well beyond that, which we will see in these next 2 days, that there are different also disciplinary perspectives and approaches to informalities that might not at first sight be so evident. So I would like to mention 2 things. One is you already have noticed, of course, that Moacir Novaes is not here, very unfortunately, a very dear colleague who actually was until the end of March the co-director, together with Barbara Goebel, Professor Barbara Goebel from the Ibero-American Institute. So they really have, together with the office here in São Paulo, organized this event. So many, many thanks for that. Yeah, so I think we are looking for some very inspiring days here, and actually the whole year we're working together also with, and I mentioned that maybe to finish, that there will be also the Sao Paulo research visits. Jose Luis is here in this function, but there will be other researchers, for example, Jens Andermann, a scholar in Latin American studies from New York University, will be here. And so there will be a lot of input also from guests and expanding the network. So I think we still have a message from the co-director, actually, which Bianca, professor of law, and she cannot be here today, but she actually recorded a video for us.
Hi, dear fellows, researchers, colleagues, and the Mecila community. I'm Bianca Tavolari. I am a principal investigator here at Mecila, and I'm also starting out as the new Brazilian director in presence, which is an honor and a deep challenge to me. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be with you at the kickoff, so I'm sending you this video to welcome you. I'm pretty sure that the discussions are going to be the most interesting, especially because we have the thematic umbrella of informalities, formalities and informalities, with discussions around work, care, and art. I'm sure you're going to have inspiring or even tensions conceptual discussions along the week. And very briefly, I'll be with you next week. So I'm just sending this video to welcome you all and also to present myself to those of you who I do not know yet. I'm sure you have a great time. Please enjoy, and we'll be able to talk about that very soon next week.